Hey everybody, how is it going? Welcome to a special edition of My EdTech Life. That's right. I know we were on last night. We had a wonderful guest. We had my great friend Brian Carpenter. Tonight it's Thursday night. I know you're probably like, what is Fonz doing? Like, what do you mean 3 shows in 1 week? Sometimes it works out very well and everything lines up. And so I'm really excited about today's show. And the reason I'm excited about this is because I know that many of you in education, whether you may be paying attention or not, maybe you're hearing the word NFT a lot. You're hearing those initials and saying like, "What is this? Why is Gary Vaynerchuk talking about NFTs? Why is so many podcasts talking about NFTs? The news is saying that NFTs are selling like crazy," and you're thinking to yourself, "Well, what's going on there?" Well, today I have a special guest, and Josh and I go back maybe several years ago, and actually Josh was probably, I think he was my second guest on my very first podcast that I had created called Caffeinated Tech, and this was
Yeah.
years ago when I was into coding, and I got to meet Josh because he was actually one of my teachers. You'd say about talking about UX and coding and all that great stuff. Very knowledgeable. So here in the Valley in Mission, and now he's up in Kalamazoo, and he's working on some great stuff. So I'm actually excited that he found some time out of his schedule to just come on and talk a little bit and share with us what NFTs are and what his project is that he's working on. So Joshua, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been a busy day. Um, so yeah, it's the end of the day, and I'm glad to be here with you.
All right, Joshua. Well, just if you can just let our audience members just tell them just a little bit about yourself, maybe your background, as far as like we're talking about programming, UX, and now what you may be doing. So just give us a little bit of context in that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very media heavy background. I've owned a media company for 3 years now, and really just been doing a lot of design, a lot of UX. Being in that space. Years prior, what's kind of brought me into what I am doing now is I was always a hobbyist in making HTML games and creating games in online forums, RPG style role playing games where they were text based, and even before that, in high school, I was creating levels and maps for 3D games. So it's always been an interest of me to dive head first and go all in on creating games, and um, my my love for crypto and my love for creating games kind of met here in this last year with NFTs, and now I'm working on an NFT-based game called Tezotopia. It's on the Tezos network, Tezos blockchain, and it'll be a game that you collect NFTs, but you're also using those NFTs to earn resources in the game, and use those resources to create your own units or use those resources to create your own blocks of land. So right now we're on the initial launching phase, and it's just getting started and it's going really well. And so we're now developing the game, launching, and getting there probably in the next 4 to 5 months or so.
Man, that is amazing. Definitely you've been very busy, like I said, from the very last time that I got to hang out with you and taking some of those classes over here in the seat office in Mission. And, it's just been great. And I'm glad to see your success and the things that you're doing. Obviously, now family man, dad also. So now you've got this new project going on. So let's just kind of get the conversation started for any
Sure.
of our audience members, listeners, first time listeners that are hearing about NFTs. So let's start off here with just a basic question here. What, maybe not so basic, but what exactly are NFTs or non-fungible tokens?
Yeah, there was a tweet I saw, and I thought it was the best description, but I'll do a better description. It was a funny description, and they were like, "Well, they missed an opportunity of calling NFTs GIF certificates because well, a lot of NFTs are just GIFs, they're just motion graphics, and what an NFT is, I think I need to explain what a fungible token. So it's a non-fungible token, but what a fungible token is something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or any token that can be traded. Because if I have and you have one Bitcoin, I have one Bitcoin, it's the same value, right? The thing with a non-fungible token is it's a token with a unique value, a token with a unique, in some cases, unique use cases or unique purposes. So kind of like real estate, maybe one house here in Kalamazoo looks exactly the same like one house in Edinburgh, but they have different values. So essentially, it's a digital certificate that says, Fonz owns it. This is his wallet address, his blockchain wallet address. This is when he purchased it. This is how much it was. This is the transfer code number. And this is just the certificate number saying that this is a unique token that Fonz owns. And guess what? There's a piece of art attached to it. There's a piece of music attached to it. Or in the case of Tesutopia, there's a block of land, a virtual block of land that's attached to it. So that's, in a nutshell, what a non-fungible token is. It's a token that has a unique value, and like real estate, like a work of art, and that's what it's being used for in the digital sense. Now it's being certified digitally, so it's taking on a new life of its own.
Wow.
With blockchain technology.
There you go. Well, that's kind of interesting. The first thing I was thinking about when you were saying that, that digital certificate that's tied to it, it's a, obviously, when people, or maybe it kind of, and I'll be honest with you, just because this is the way my brain thinks, but it reminded me of Pawn Stars, where they always ask, well, do you have like a certificate of authentication that comes with this? Like to know that
Yeah.
something is legit, to know that something is real. So is that kind of close to that description where you're saying like, this is digitally saying that this is that original piece that, Fonz owns, and it, like you said, it's attached to this work of art, like it's certified. So,
Right, and so now it's attached to your wallet address, so your crypto wallet address, depending on what network or node that you're using. Now your NFT is attached to that. You own it. Nobody can deny that you own it. Nobody can say you don't own it, and that NFT has an identity based on a certificate that's all on the blockchain.
Excellent. So now, how exactly does that work in the sense of now you say, okay, I'm the owner, it's attached to my wallet, my address, it says I own it. So am I able now to say, okay, as the owner, later on, if I wanted to sell it or, do whatever with it, I would still be able to take that because it's an asset of mine. So I would still be able to sell that again, right? It's
Correct.
not like
Yeah,
I
and
just own it.
correct. You can. It's a virtual asset, just like a physical asset. So in a sense, you could take it to a virtual marketplace and sell it on the virtual marketplace for, whatever you deem it to be valued at. And if the marketplace buys it at the value that you deemed it, then that's the value of it, right? So that's essentially how the market's working right now with NFTs. Is it's a price exploration, price discovery going on. And you have mentioned offline, how Beeple's work of art, the artist Beeple, his went up for what, 69 million or something like that.
69 million.
And so it's exactly that. And I think because he was a well-known artist, he is a well-known artist before NFTs. Then he jumps into the NFT game, and so because NFTs are so novel and so new, I think it upped his value and upped the value of his artwork. His artwork was already really valuable, but now it's just even more valuable because now it's digitally certified, it's on the blockchain, it's verifiable, and you can brag about it online virtually and resell it virtually easily. So how does that work? There are several marketplaces out there, and depending on the network that you're on, the most popular network, the one that Gary Vee is on, is Ethereum network. And so you can create your Ethereum wallet. It's not very difficult, but it can be difficult. And you can carry around your NFTs in your digital wallet, your Ethereum wallet. But there are the other networks. Tezotopia actually is on the Tezos network. It's a smaller network, but it has a really strong NFT community. And the reason I chose it is because it's, you hear a lot about blockchain technology being bad for the environment and all that. Tezos is actually a proof of stake, which it's a cleaner for the environment, and these are hashtag clean NFTs. So so good for the environment, and also a very active community in the Tezos community. So that was
Nice. Well, we've got a question here from my friend AJ, who's welcome AJ. Thank you for joining. He's the host of the Reflect Ed podcast, and I know we were talking a little bit about this, Josh, and
mhm,
backstage, and I trying to see some implications maybe later on in education. I know right now AJ's asking what the benefit or downfall of NFTs is in the EDU space. Now, just to kind of tie that in a little bit, I know we were talking about certificates or diplomas and things of that
right.
sort,
It could
possibly.
also go into like your SAT scores. What if SAT scores are on the blockchain, or your whole education records on the blockchain, and verifiable that way. Um, um, I'm seeing the comments come through.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
no.
so that's I think that could be one of the benefits is you're able to verify that through the blockchain, through a digital certificate, and hey, this is my GPA, or hey, this is what these are the tests that I've done based on my educational wallet. Um, there's the possibility of that. A downfall, I being an optimist, it's hard to think of downfall, but the downfall for education in the EDU space, I don't know. Like, do you have any ideas what might be a
No,
negative, an
not.
NFT?
I mean, not right now because I mean, honestly, there hasn't been anything like at least that I have seen anybody talking about this in education other than like you said, with blockchain having your scores, getting everything verified. I mean, as it is, you mentioned wallet. I mean, for a lot of us that do certifications and do trainings, it's like they no longer really send you that piece of paper, that PDF or anything. It's really just like, oh, here's your a credible wallet or your that has your certificates, your certifications. I know for Google certified trainers, you've got a wallet and it's through a credible. It'll tell you you are verified level one, level two trainer, and so on. And then, of course, there's other platforms like you mentioned, with Gary Vee being on Ethereum, and then, of course, you being on Tezos. So, I mean, there's other, like, there's a credible, I believe there is Badger, and all these other platforms that do the same. So, maybe some of the downfall, and in seeing, even with NFTs, is it that there might be too many wallets, right now that people have to sign up for
True.
just to
Yeah.
get certain things?
Yeah, and I think that's a thing also in crypto is like I have like maybe 4 or 5 crypto wallets, and it's like I have to keep track of the different crypto wallets. Um, so yeah, I think that's just a thing because crypto is so early and it's just so new that all those things are going to get kind of sorted out and figured out. The mentality right now is cross chain. So like there's Ethereum, there's Tezos, there's Binance Smart Chain, there's Dogecoin's now producing maybe a potential its own decentralized platform. So there may be some intermixing, intertwining with these um, cross chain technologies where one wallet might work for all wallets, and that's probably the potential future because it is so encumbering to keep track of your crypto wallets, and obviously if you're doing certifications and stuff, you want to make sure that it's verified that it's your wallet and all that, and you're not fumbling around to figure out your seed phrases or your passcodes for your different wallets. You can't verify
Yeah.
that you're actually certified.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I really like what AJ said here. It says it's more comprehensive digital portfolio. Could be great for students. I mean, easily just and no need to focus on transcript requests and things because everything is already
True.
verified.
Yeah. It's
So
already going to
that's
be on the blockchain. Yeah.
yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. Good eye there, AJ. That's really awesome. So let's talk just a little bit more about NFTs, and then we'll talk about Tezotopia because I'm really excited about this because to me this is something unique. At least from what I've seen, I don't really see too much of what you're doing, being talked about, but I think it's something that's very interesting. But let's just talk a little bit here as far as artists and creators, developers, why should they start thinking about NFTs now or maybe in the foreseeable future? What's going to be in it for them, whether it's maybe a big
Start doing it
corporation?
now, not in the foreseeable future.
Okay, doing it
If you're
now.
an artist, if you're a creator, if you're somebody that's making things and a creative person, this is, especially right now, like you can, because it's hot, it's new, and crypto's in a good place. This could be life changing for an artist, right? They can go and quit their job or quit their two jobs or whatever and focus on their art, because crypto community knows that a tokenized piece of art is very valuable. And if you're an artist, figure it out, read about it, learn about it, and dive in, because this is a source of income that is a lot more easily attainable than setting up on an art walk and trying to sell your art, in a physical format. Because this opens up your audience to the world. And right now it's so new and the galleries are so new and it's not oversaturated that your opportunities are there. And so people are hungry for it. People are looking for it, and it's so brand new. All you got to do is just upload your art, and I'm sure you have pictures of your art. I'm sure you have copies of your art. Digitize them, and get your crypto wallet, and pay the fees that you have to pay to get your art up on a NFT gallery, and do it. So I say do it now. Like don't hesitate. Don't think about the foreseeable future. Just do it now. Start diving in, because there really is money to be made for artists, and it is putting a lot of artists that weren't in the spotlight before right front and center, in front of a global community that's hungry to buy these NFTs and these works of art that are rare, and you never see them if they weren't NFTs.
There you go. Well, let's start going back to NFTs, and I really like what you're saying as far as getting out there as an artist, as a creator, because there's so many people that are out there that sometimes are virtually unknown. Nobody gives them the time of day, and they're just amazing artists. And now they have, a platform where they can share their art and put it out there for the world. I know, for example, like a lot of uh, music artists too are getting into the world of NFTs, and I even heard like Gary Vaynerchuk's mentioning something like also like a ticket, a ticket to a concert is an
Mm-hmm.
NFT, and saying, okay, I'm going to sell so many tickets or there's so many NFTs, and if you purchase this, you get certain little bonuses like either within the
Right.
concert and so on, and that even later on that virtual or that NFT stub still has some value to it, and the artist continuously makes a piece or a cut out of the sell of the ticket and whatever else is added on there. So can you tell us just a little bit maybe of the way that works, because I know I really did a lousy job at explaining that, but if you kind of grasp the
well,
concept.
yeah, because it's a digital format, and because it's traded on a blockchain for currency, whether it's cryptocurrency, once that's realized into dollars, it's realized into dollars, and there's no one that can take that away from you. So you can set royalty fees on your work of art, and you can be your manager, your art manager, your music manager, all that by setting your royalty fees. And like my Tesotopia, Tesotop blocks, I have a 10% royalty. So if somebody resells those, I'm getting 10% off the sale. Um, and you set that, and if you know you're reselling, or your products or your work of art are popular, you'll find your royalty fees coming in, and your artwork getting traded and upsold in no time, because you're allowed to and you're able to set those royalty fees. So yeah, what you were talking about with Gary Vee, the ability to do things with NFTs that you can't do with physical objects is a lot more interesting because of this. So NFT opens up one world, right? But because it's in blockchain technology, there's also such things as smart contracts, right? So what he's talking about, is you buy a ticket, but then you're airdropped an NFT, or you're airdropped something special later just because you bought that ticket, is because of a smart contract. So your NFT would be tied to a smart contract that says, oh, look, this wallet owns NFT. They're eligible for XYZ, right? They're eligible for more tickets in the future, or they're eligible for this, unique concert. Maybe the concert was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or whatever. So they get a unique badge that says like, you were there at this Pittsburgh concert, and now it's in your wallet. Now you have this little piece of art that's attached to your ticket. So your ticket just gets more valuable, or more of a cool experience, because it's more than just a ticket. Now it's, a piece of art, and now it's got resale value. So
that is amazing. That just blows my mind, like you said, because that's exactly like you're describing it. Is just amazing how you can purchase something and tied to that smart contract, and then you just continue getting benefits, and possibly even be able to resell. Because he did mention, he goes, upon you could that stub, even though the concert just passed, it still has value to it that
right,
somebody else can sell. And then, like you mentioned, like you get royalties, like for yourself. Like, and we'll talk about Tesotopia right now in a little bit. But I just have one final question, like as far as this, and then we can talk a little bit more about
sure,
Tesotopia and
go
the
ahead.
work that you're doing. But it's the question is, what is and isn't an NFT? Now, I've seen, and the comment that you made was like being a gift, and I have seen that, but a lot of the uh, uh, that I read, articles that I've read and everything, they'll show like people just, oh, I just created this GIF and I sold it for this much, and I just created this GIF and I sold it this much. But it's not just GIFs, obviously,
Right.
right?
No, yeah, no. It's anything, really. A whole website can become an NFT if you wanted it to. Anything that is in digital format can become an NFT. Like, you can tokenize just about anything. And even physical objects, um, there's and I mentioned this prior, but I won't mention the name. But a large retailer, is experimenting in the NFT space, and they're experimenting with the idea of, not only is this going to be a digital format, but hey, there's going to be something you can redeem in person that's going to be a one of a kind, product. So there's that, right? So your NFT can help you redeem a physical product. There's so much. It's such an open space, to experiment and to kind of explore, because you really could. You were talking about, someone standing on a block of land and saying, "I'm selling this little piece of land for a parcel of land for $5." It's essentially the same thing, right? If you apply your interest of augmented reality, and you say, hey, every 5 by 5 block of land is worth X amount, right? And you create an app for it, and there's the ability to see that piece of land is Fonz is the owner, and he bought it this time, and he bought it for this much, and he's reselling it for that much, or it's an estimated value of this much. Who's to say that the whole world will not be non-fungible tokens in the future, right? Like who's to say that your phone, that serial code's going to turn into an actual NFT code that you can just scan and verify that you're the owner. And because NFT and the verification process and it being on the blockchain and it being trackable makes it possible for all of these things to kind of just say, look, like we are owners of this. We are, this is at this value, and it is degraded a certain value, all on the ledger, right? All on the blockchain, and rather than just throwing up a number and saying, well, now it's only worth $300, or now it's only worth whatever. But people can bid on it, and you can have an easier time of selling your products or selling used things. So really, the possibilities of what is an NFT, anything can be an NFT. Really, anything could be an NFT. The tree outside my window could be an NFT.
Wow, that is amazing. See, and this is great. I mean, these conversations. I mean, I know my podcast is mainly like education based creators, but I mean, and people think creators is okay. Somebody's good digital art and all that stuff, but this is actually you are a creator. I mean, doing what you're doing, and then of course you've got the artists that do this, musicians, and so on. But I mean, this really takes that creative aspect to a different level where there's value in what you're doing, or people may see the value, or you put it out there and say, hey, this is what
Right.
I think it's worth. And people can say, like you say, the market takes it as is, or says, nah, we don't really see it that way. So before we again, let's go ahead and I want to talk a little bit now about Tezotopia and what you're working
Sure.
on. So I'm going to bring this up here on the screen. So we've got your website here. It's
Mm-hmm.
tezotop.io. And so tell us a little bit here about what you are doing with Tezotopia.
Sure. So there's elements of decentralized finance. So now we're getting into another level of crypto that's a total different level than NFTs. So what Tezotopia is, it's as I've described it from the beginning, is it's yield farming with a computer game built on top of it, right? What's yield farming? So for people that don't know decentralized finance, there's certain aspects to cryptocurrency, and right now in the space that's really popular, it's called decentralized finance, DeFi, and what users can do, or cryptocurrency holders can do, of a certain token, is they can stake their tokens in the sense of like locking it up and saying that token or the amount of tokens, say I have a million certain tokens, right? Or a million Tezotopia tokens, and I'm going to lock those up. Because I've locked those up, I'm going to get rewarded though. So people in this space right now, are getting 20% or 30% a year returns on these staking. So it's kind of changing the game of like, where am I going to put my money? What Tezotopia is doing is those NFTs, you actually stake those NFTs and earn, resources in the game. So there's various resources in the game, such as minerals, energy, machinery, and unobtainium, which is going to be the token of Tezotopia. So unobtainium is going to be used for creating more Tezotops. So more different, you can use half of one unobtainium, so 0.5 unobtainium to mint a new block of land in the game. That's the use case for unobtainium, and it's very important in crypto to have a use case for your token. And one of the compliments that I've gotten for my NFTs is, oh, your NFTs have a use case. Like they're not just collectibles, they're not just pieces of art. They're actually earning the players or the users or the crypto holders something. And so that's what's made Tesotopia very unique in that we're taking an element of decentralized finance, but we're also taking an element of NFTs and kind of marrying the two worlds and allowing those crypto participants, those players, to earn on holding their NFTs.
Wow. So this is really neat. Like, and going to the Twitter page,
Uh-huh.
giftgames.com, guys, giftgames.com. But I mean,
All right,
here I
gift
think
dot
you
games.
oh yeah, sorry, gift.games. Sorry, gift.games. I apologize. Gift.games. Here, like for example, a look at tomorrow's 3 and the next level land grab. I mean,
Uh-huh.
this right here that they're showing you. I mean, you're obviously you're sharing, you're teasing, you're getting the
Yeah, yeah.
people hyped up and everything. But tell us a little bit about this, like these posts right here, as far as what is available when you put something up there. What does it mean? What is the person getting? Like I know you mentioned, okay, they're purchasing this piece of land, but how does that come into the gameplay, and how
Yeah,
does that
yeah.
tie in?
Scroll through. Let's see. Maybe you can find a post where I posted the links to the lands. Oh, there's that one. But go down to the next one. No, go down a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, go to that one that says listing in about 50 minutes. So there you see a listing of block 45. And so the values right now, because it is high demand, the values right now are a little higher. But this certain block says unobtainium 2 times, minerals 5 times, right? So those two little icons on the top of the card, on the top left and the top right. So on the top left, that's unobtainium, and then on the top right, that's minerals. And so in the game, it's going to earn you 2 times the amount of unobtainium that block produces. And so if you read through the land guide and on the Tesotopia, I mean, just like a real-time strategy game, land resources are produced at a certain rate. And so I think unobtainium is produced at like 0.0005 an hour or something like that. And so because you hold this, it'll be produced 2 times that. In certain lands, it's produced 4 times that or 5 times that. Or on the Genesis block, it was produced 9 times, the original amount. And so it made it, more valuable. So that is what players are looking at. They're like, oh, this has good resources. Oh, this has 5 times, 6 times, 7 times minerals. Those are going to be elements that are going to be used in the game, and people are seeing value in that. And so that's kind of what's dictating the price and the value of these at the moment, because it is a use case NFT rather than just a work of art. The use case is playing into the value of the NFT, and
I
people are
see.
reselling them as well.
Wow.
I had a meme contest or a contest to create memes for Tesotopia or the NFT community, and the winner, he won, and I gave him the NFT this morning, and it was valued at 500 Tezos, or no, yeah, 500 Tezos, like $300 or $3,000, and he
Wow.
resold it. He sold it for he resold it this morning, and somebody snatched it up right away, like within 10 minutes, just because he put it back up on the market. So people are like hawks watching when I list. So that's why I'm like listing in 1 hour. And so I've changed to just listing in one. I used to announce like 24 hours before or 12 hours before, but like the usual folks were just waiting, and they would snatch them up. So now I changed it to just listing 1 hour before, and making it totally spontaneous and helping kind of diversify the player pool, because things, I want things to kind of be fair in the game. I don't want just a giant group of one little a niche of players to own all the land. So it's been beneficial this way to diversify the player pool. Um, and because they're in such high demand, the prices are staying high. I had promised the community that I would lower the prices, but there's no way to justify that right now because they're going like crazy, and I can't I can't justify lowering them down to $60 like I had said before. But right now they got to go for a higher price.
Wow, this is amazing. So, like for example, here, of course, talks you the creator. So this is what you
Hmm.
mean, like right now, where it says here DOX or Docs. This is the person that currently owns this card
Correct.
at the moment that you listed, and of course
Hmm.
the symbol for Tezotopia, the Tezo top block. Now this right here, 435 Tez, is that I guess the coin the or
Yeah, Tezos. So let me do the math on that. What that is valued at. Um, it usually says the amount there, but because it's not being sold at the moment,
Mhm.
it's not gonna list it. So 435, that block is worth $1,635.
Wow. Wow. That just really kind of blows my mind. And I hope that anybody watching or listening or is going to be rewatching this or re-listening, you get to see at what is happening here where you've got some digital, and this isn't digital art, it's a digital game, and the concept is amazing, decentralized area where you can go ahead and play this game, be strategic, and either you're mining more coin, but also the value of this particular card as well is blowing up like crazy.
Yeah,
And then of course I see here where yourself as the creator, I mean, look at that, 10% of what you just
everything
said right
royalty.
now. I mean, it must be nice, just to kind of wake up and all of a sudden passive income in that sense. Just wake up and it's like boom, direct deposit, direct deposit, direct deposit. I mean,
Sure.
who wouldn't
Sure.
like that?
Yeah, sure. It's going into the crypto wallet right now, so it's not realized
Well,
dollars at the moment, but a lot of it is the promise that I made to the community is half of that is going to go into a liquidity amount for unobtainium. So half of what I raise in this round of the pre-sales, and I'm calling it the land grab, and so half of what's raised will go into giving value to unobtainium, because cryptocurrencies, if they're not backed by actual value,
right.
actual money, then they're just tokens floating around, meaningless tokens. So backing it with an actual asset that is worth something will make it profitable for players and allow them to exchange these resources and allow them to actually benefit from unobtainium rather than just it being an in-game resource.
Wow. I mean, this is great, Joshua. I'm really thankful and just for the information that you're sharing because I mean, I'm gaining so much knowledge. And I hope, like I said, our listeners that are going to be watching and, really get to understand NFTs and the implications and what it has in store for the future. But I mean, just the value. And like you said, many people that are artists out there that can take their art and digitize it and put it up into this space where people actually find value, see that value, and you're putting it out there. I mean, it just really blew my mind, especially when and I started doing more research when I read about Beeple who sold his collection. I think he's been
Yeah.
creating one new thing every day. I think he's on year 15 and he sold his collection, for 69 million. I was like, there's definitely something here. Something is
Hmm.
up. And
For
so
sure.
I just definitely want to thank you for you sharing your knowledge and of course your project that you're working on, giving us a little better explanation. But now just to kind of end, just kind of on a lighter note here, usually these are the questions that I ask so all our guests. So pretty much, so it'll just kind of be putting you on the spot here. But what is next for Joshua Garza? What else is up aside from Tezotopia? Any other projects that you're working on?
Another crypto project that I'm working on with a friend of mine here in Kalamazoo, and that's going to be on the Ethereum network. And so we're launching a token called Chips, and it'll be for sports betting. And so sports betting on the blockchain, and yeah, that's the next thing I got rolling. Um, a lot of my energy is going into Tezotopia. So what's next for me is more Tezotopia. Um, and I think these two things are going to really keep me uh, busy and entertained and having fun, creating new things. So two big projects, two crypto projects, really fun stuff. So um, Chips hasn't launched yet. It's in the early rounds of getting people interested in it and getting um, private investors, friends and family at this
Mm,
point to kind of buy into the idea and buy into the token. But hoping to launch in 6 months or so. That's when our developer said that things can be up and running. So
nice.
that's exciting, and Tezotopia also kind of on the same timeline of the actual game launching, and the game launching in like 6 months, probably the beta in 3 or 4 months, and those early community members that bought in early, they'll get to play the game, uh, sooner than later.
Wow,
So
man.
that's
That
exciting.
I'm really excited for you too because I mean, like I said, getting to know you and when you were living here in the RGV and getting to hang out with you just because I visited the seat office several times, but I mean it's really great to see what you're doing and it just really blows my mind. How forward thinking you are, always being ahead, getting into the game quick and being very innovative, which really helps because like you said, by the time some people kind of start figuring this out, you're going to be, well ahead and I mean, deep in the game while others are already starting and so on. So, I mean, I wish you the best of luck in all your projects and in everything that you're doing. So, just the last two questions here. And this next one is if you can have a banner, right? I'm actually meant to type in billboard, but if you could have
Oh
a
boy.
billboard with anything on it, anything at all, what would it be and why?
Oh boy.
You just putting you on the spot there, my friend.
Be fruitful and multiply. Um, I have no idea. I mean, the selfish part of me wants to say, "Oh, a Teslatopia advertisement," but then the more philosophical side of me would want to put like some philosophical saying that could impact somebody's life. Um, yeah, I think something to remind people that don't be afraid to take the risk. It's more of a risk not taking the risks that you really feel deep down inside that you want to take. So maybe a message along those lines of like, don't be afraid of taking the risks because it's more of a risk, really, if you just let go of your passions and ambitions. So jump all and be all in. That's the
Nice.
banner. That's a lot. It's a wordy banner, but
It's a wordy banner, but it's a great message. And honestly, oftentimes, even as educators, I mean, in the education space, in the creator space, I mean, yeah, a lot of people often are scared to take that risk and just dive in because, whatever reason, imposter syndrome, things of that sort. But I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I never saw it that way or heard it that way. Like, not taking the risk is actually taking a risk, and I was like, man, that really resonates, because I feel you, I get you. But yeah, man, that's really
I
great.
think that it's definitely a bigger risk not to take the risk because you'll never see what you could have been, and you'll be stuck in the lull or the dullness that you're feeling rather than jumping all in onto your passion. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man, and that's awesome. And that's what I see in you. Like you're really, passionate about what you're doing. You're obviously you've been very well educated and versed in this and of course the skill set that you have is really great for what it is that you're doing and so I'm really excited and I'm always happy, when, somebody that I know is just doing something that is amazing, that is, just being in the forefront of what is happening and being in the mix and I think that that's awesome and that's powerful. So thank you so much, Joshua. I really appreciate you being here. And, again, I wish you the best and your growing family. amazing. Congratulations on that as
Yeah.
well. You have a
Thank
really
you.
lovely family, so I'm really excited for you. And so thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. And again, for all our
Thank
audience
you.
members watching, listening, this will be up right now on our website. So visit our website at myedtech.life, myedtech.life. The show will be up right now, probably in about 10, 15 minutes or so. You can rewatch it as well. And then, of course, just stay informed, stay in the loop. You hear this a lot, then maybe you need to get, out there a little bit more. And like Josh said, maybe take that risk or if not, just even learn about it, be better educated, and you never know what may happen. So thank you guys for checking us out today. We will be back this Saturday. This Saturday, we do have a show, 9 a.m. We've got Dr. Matthew. We've got, excuse me, Dr. Matthew Joseph. We've got him going on. We're going to be talking about the power of connections, talking about, I like to call it PLF. People call it PLNs, PLCs. Whatever the case is, connection is powerful. So join us this Saturday live at 9 a.m., my friends. But until next time, stay techie.